Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die film session. I'm your host, Trap or Die Podcast, Mual. And listen, we're here to break down that boy, Deebo Samuel. He's been traded from the San Francisco 49ers to the Washington Commanders. And, there's been a lot of conversation about who Deebo Samuel is. They don't think he's necessarily the same guy that he used to be a few years ago. I looked at his 2024 play in particular. There's a lot of good that comes out of that, but let's go ahead and just talk about some of the things that's misguided about Deebo. But we're going to do so after we break down the film. Let's talk about what he brings to the table, how he's going to improve the offense, Cliff Kingsbury offense, and how he's going to help the players around him as well. So without further ado, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Deebo Samuel film session up next. All right, so the first thing with Deebo, he thrives on the first and second level, right? And more importantly, the first level. But when you talk about Deebo and his ability to be an option for you as a wide receiver, we're talking about an individual who has that ability to read coverages, understand what he's looking at. And in this moment, you're talking about a person who is processing versus zone coverage. You get a quarters coverage, and he sees when he breaks for that post, right? I'm sure he has an option in the offense. I'm not too sure or super understanding of Kyle Shanahan's offense, but when he breaks for that post and that zone void, right? He sees middle of the field open, which indicates a too high safety shield, right? But as he's breaking for that post, that field side safety is in his way, so he just settles, comes back, and gives a window for Brock Purdy to target him in. From that instance of processing as a route runner or receiver, that's really good. Securing the ball in traffic, that's another thing that Deebo Samuel brings to the table as well. Just his ball security, overall ball security, and that's pretty good. All right, so now this one, Deebo's not getting the ball here, but when you talk about what he can do, just as a receiver, as a route runner, you get to see his play strength here. He's at the top of your screen by the 30-yard line, running just a deep curl, it seems like, right? But what are we looking at in specifically? So it's the acceleration in the foot speed from Deebo, right? Being able to get upfield, close that cushion, and then show the subtleties of wide receiver, being able to hit that slight little nudge to create that separation at the top of his route. Just running a deep curl again. And that's like a nuanced aspect of being a wide receiver. Again, you're not talking about a person that got the ball there, but you're talking about a person who, again, the narrative is about getting the ball in his hands quickly. He can be an option for you beyond the second level. And that's kind of one of the ways that he creates separation downfield. Now we're talking about his ability at the catch point, right? That's a tough catch. Let's show the end zone angle. You may be able to see it. High and behind him in traffic, being able to have the grip strength to, first off, complete that pass or hold on to it, Again, contested behind him, going towards the middle of the field, catching the ball behind him to his back shoulder, holding on to it in traffic. Tough pass, and that's something that you learn to appreciate with Deebo, especially throughout different areas of the field. That's a tough catch. Let's go to another aspect of Deebo's ability to catch in traffic. Again, 2024. This is 225 Deebo, bro. That's 225 Deebo, still making a play. But again, we're talking about a person with the concentration in traffic, right? But then also being able to make that defender miss or not let that defender who's barreling down on him face how he catches the ball or tries to catch the ball at the catch point and he houses it. Another thing to add is looking how he aligns in an offense, right? Now you're talking about Deebo in the backfield. San Fran used him a lot in the backfield. They had this motion shift where, he's not necessarily going towards the line of scrimmage. He's just shifting out towards the boundary or the field side behind the receivers who are aligned out there. Just to tell how is the defense going to react. You're talking about a mug look, a double A-gap pressure look. And how does the San Francisco 49ers call the Dallas Cowboys bluff, right? How do they call the bluff? They send Deebo in motion, it gets them out. There is no more A-gap pressure. And now you just send Deebo on that wheel route. Excellent catch, but you're seeing what Deebo brings to the table in terms of his alignment on this play, but also as a pass catcher. Again, this is a tough catch. We're talking about behind, but also in traffic contested. Like if you get this better pass where he doesn't have to slow down and he can just get under the football, he may even score. But again, behind him, in traffic, but holds on to it, shakes Kendrick off, bro, you too little, and keeps it pushing. That's a 53-yard gain. I think 20 yards YAC. It's not 53 yards. I'm tripping. I don't know where my math came from. It's not 53 yards, but it's 20. I think it's like 25 yards YAC. And you see him drag the linebacker, shake them off, shake the linebacker and the DB off, and you get the extra yards there. Again, his ability at the catch point and then the YAC yardage is impressive. Now, you didn't get too much YAC here, but you see what happens when you get Deebo again in a zone coverage, blowing past the DB. DB is probably expecting inside help, didn't get it, over the shoulder catch. And we're talking about a big play for the San Francisco 49ers. This is the 53-yarder that I was thinking about, but it wasn't the last play. So let's go ahead and get to, again, his ability at the catch point. What does Deebo bring as a pass catcher? Deep dig, tough catch. Like, he's competitive in all aspects. After the catch, during the route phase, as a pass catcher, right? As a blocker. Being able to make that catch on the move, high pointing, right? Extending beyond your frame, your arms, look, is away from his body. You're susceptible to a rib shot, but he don't give it down. Brings the ball down in traffic. Excellent catch from Deebo. Excellent rep from Deebo from the route phase up into the catch point. Again, we're talking about contested catches. Like, this is what he brings to the table. Look at the release at the line. Now, I don't think that Deebo is an excellent route runner by any means. I think he runs even the change of direction routes, like the in breakers, the out breakers, like those that require like cutting. He runs them at full speed. So it's not necessarily a person who's really sharp or nuanced as a route runner, but he gets the job done. And at the line of the scrimmage, he'll have moments where he can't necessarily win cleanly, but then he'll have some where he knows how to use his hands and he'll get like those clean releases at the line. On this one, you're talking about a person who won inside. This is tight press coverage. Wins inside, breaks in on that dig. Fighting for those extra yards. He doesn't get them, right? But you're talking about a person who is super physical in all aspects of his game. Get off me, bro. But then Smarley also goes down. Like, you're talking about, and you're in traffic. Smarley just go ahead, let me get my plays. You know, I'll take my yards. Now, I think this was one of Deebo's best games of the season. I think this play right there is excellent. We talk about how he's good in zone coverage. It's not just being able to, you know, run a route and stop like we showed in the Minnesota game, right? How do you find that second, third window for your quarterback, right? You're running a slant right here, and technically you're open if your quarterback sees you right here. But another thing that Deebo is doing is understanding that, look, you see it right there, and we'll show it again. He sees the open field. Deebo turned his head. Now he's like, all right, let me get behind this linebacker on the other side of this linebacker, excuse me, because I know Purdy he can find me right there too. Excellent contact balance. Like that spin at the end, let's go ahead and show it. You'll see, here's that first window. Purdy holds onto the ball, but now he is trying to find him in that second window. Deebo does an excellent job keeping his feet. Again, competitor. He's not sweet. Let me get those extra yards. He gets them down to the 3, inside the 5. Excellent play from Deebo. Another rep from Deebo. Again, very good competitors, elite level competitiveness, man. Get in the end zone, bro. Get off me. They too little. But you see how San Fran hides them in a sense, right? They got George Kittle on his inside is somewhat of a stacked alignment. And George takes the outside, or he runs the inside release. They kind of run a switch though, because George is basically takes the inside release, but is going back outside, and Deebo takes the outside release and he's going inside. Really good rep, executed on all aspects. But then Deebo just does the rest. Too little, bro. That's how he looks at it. They all too little. And this game, his best game of the season was late in the year. So, I mean, you take that for what it's worth. This is kind of the player that you're getting, Washington. He's a dog in all aspects, honestly. And then let's close this. I showed you all against the Dallas Cowboys how he can create some headaches from a disguise standpoint defensively, the way that the offense will line him up. And in this aspect, let's show what happens when you're in a 1st or 3rd and 18 situation, or 1st and 15, whatever it was in this case, right? Like, you're already behind the sticks. So let's go ahead and try and find a way to fool the defense and use Deebo as that attention seeker. George Kittle just does the rest. And it was a really easy setup for George, but you're talking about Deebo again lined in the backfield, right? They sell the screen with Ricky Pearsall as that lead blocker. You get George Kittle simulating the block outside as well, but then you run a middle screen with your tight end. But at the time that he catches it, let's kind of look at where the defenders are, right? Those second level defenders, let's get them away from George Kittle. How do we do that? Let's sell that screen. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders shifting toward the boundary. And it allows Kittle with open field to the opposite side. Well executed, but also purposefully done with Deebo as the decoy. So that's gonna wrap it up on this film session. My primary goal was just to show from the passing game standpoint exactly what Deebo can provide. As a runner, I think all of that is good for Deebo, right? Like, and that's good for Washington, knowing that he can be used as a running back. But I don't think that that's gonna be his same role from San Francisco down to DC. I think that they're going to find a way to get him the ball as quickly as possible. They're going to find a way to get him his touches, but it's primarily going to be from a wide receiving standpoint, like as a pass catcher, to get these touches. And I don't think he's not going to get carries, but I think his primary source of getting the football will be through the passing game, whether it's the first level or in the backfield or beyond the first level. You were all able to see how he operated from a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level standpoint, but also how he can be utilized to get other players in position to win. That's what Deebo brings. And I think the theory and where people say that he had a down season is completely misguided, because if you look at his tape, one thing that you understand with Deebo is that the style of play that he has, you're not getting a 1,500 a year, 1,500 yards from scrimmage a year. Or because if you look at his yards, like, Deebo is not a person who's expected to average or should be averaging 1,400, 1,500 yards from scrimmage a year. Like, that's not the type of person that Deebo is. And what I mean by that, like, he had that in 2021. That's an amazing season. That's as good as it gets with Deebo. But a player to the caliber of Deebo, knowing that he's not a prolific receiver, but also not a prolific running back, he's just very good at both. This is a person that if he has anywhere between 900 and 1,100 yards from scrimmage a year, that is a win for any team that he's on. He's a playmaker. He can score from all levels. He can score from different areas of the field. But more importantly, he moves the sticks and he provides toughness to an offense. Keep that in mind when you look at Deebo, and keep that in mind as the season goes along and you see the small areas in which he has dramatically improved the team. That's where Deebo and his impact comes along. So without further ado, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Hope you all enjoyed Deebo Samuel film session. Until next time, man. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.